We got breakage. Hey, welcome back to the channel. We're on a rescue mission. Truck, trailer, wah. Say hello once again to Alex's 73 Malibu. So we just had it in for a quick starter job. Had him back up and running like a champ. And then I get a call day before yesterday. Car starts, goes into gear, makes a weird clanking noise, but won't go anywhere. So went and did kind of a house call, took a quick look. Something was broken in the rear end. We tried to flat tow it just a little bit ago, but if you look real close, the offset of that rear wheel and tire versus this rear wheel and tire, and the wheel actually started walking out. So we had to go get the trailer, jack it up, slam the axle back in as far as we could get it, and roll it on the trailer. So it's got rear end issues. Hopefully it's just the broken axle, but we're gonna get it off the trailer and start to diagnose again. I mean, this darn car, it's been a challenge for Alex. It's been a little bit of a challenge for us. We need to get it to where it runs. You know, we had it running for a few months really nicely, and then we did the starter, and now we're doing this rear end issue, and we just need it to go for a while and not cost this poor teenager money here. But we'll see what we can find out on it. Let's get it off the trailer. Don't worry, we're good. Even actually kind of got her to turn a little bit so we can shoot it into the shop now. Boy, I don't even have this thing up in the air yet, and I have updates. So we tried to pull it. It was the driver's side that started walking out on us. Rolled it off the trailer, pushed it in here, and the passenger side is walking out on us. So we've got issues. Gonna get it up in the air here and see what's going on. Well, we about got all the bolts out. This is not looking good. We got an awful lot of gray, which means an awful lot of metal. Let's get some of this out. Got grease in it, so at least some. Oh, yeah, she's full of metal. Dang it. And I missed my pan. Oh, you guys, that's just gray. Oh man, that makes me sick. inspection. Dang it. Not what we wanted to see. Oh. Yeah. Well, let me get a light and then I'll get you a little better angle here. We got breakage. Where's the pin? All right. Well, here's what we got so far. Let me get you on a... We got spider gears. That's a whole one. Let me get another pan to put pieces in. Okay, so that's one spider gear. Hole. We see here where the center pin is supposed to go in the carrier. The retainer bolt appears to still be there, but there the pin is like gone or chewed up. We got a chunk of a spider gear, about a third of a spider gear. Here's part of our pin. Broken center pin. Oh man. Here, yeah. Broken center pin. And then these are the side gears that should hold the axle in with C-clips. Dang it. The carrier's damaged here. I'm sure we've got at least some damage on our ring and pinion, but that entire carrier is junk now. Plus we're missing a center pin. Oh, that's too bad. There's the another piece of spider gear. There's a C-clip, one of them. There's a spider gear thrust washer. I don't have the other C-clip yet. There's the other side gear. Oh wait, here it is. Here's the other C-clip. Well, okay, this rear is junk, or at least the center section is. What we're going to be doing is searching for a used rear axle for this car. Dang it. Alright, this rear end's kind of junk. Well, at least the center section is. It is an 8.5 GM 10 bolt. The way we know this is right here. These are 3/4 inch headed ring gear bolts, and that's specific to the 8.5 inch 10 bolt. If this was an 8.2 or a 7.5, it would have 9/16 headed ring gear bolts. And then also from this center bolt and the bottom to the adjacent bolt should be 3 1/4 either way, and that's what we have here. Now we can also tell what ratio we had. This one, it happens to be seized, or well, it has to be hung up on about where the stamping is. If you look right there, it says 15:41. So 41 divided by 15 is 2.733333333333333333, and that's 273 gears. So we've got a highway gear 8.5 inch 10 bolt Chevy rear end. These are very plentiful. Hopefully we can find one. And what we're going to try and do is just get a whole rear end assembly that is in fairly decent shape and swap out the whole unit. I think that's going to be cheaper, parts and labor wise, than trying to buy a carrier, a new center pin, a new retainer bolt, a new ring and pinion, axles, or I'm sorry, at least seals, maybe bearings on the outer axles, and then setting all that up. We can do that, but that's pretty labor intensive. I think the right course of action here is going to be to try to find a used unit. So I'm going to start asking around with some folks I know, and in the meantime we're going to shove these axles back in and delicately push this out into the queue, and we'll see what they want to do with it. Not good news for Alex and the 73 Malibu. Hey guys, I just feel pretty awful for Alex. They've had some trials and tribulations with this car. He and his mother, they could use a break on this car, and we've been trying to help him out, keep things affordable, and you know, he's actually, if you go back that first video, he came and helped me wrench on the car, saved him some money, and he learned a little bit about his car. So the kid's into the car, but you know, we just keep hitting these little stumbling blocks, and this rear end thing is just a kick in the teeth. 8.5 10 bolt 273 gears. If somebody around central Nebraska, heck, anywhere in Nebraska, if you can help me out and find me one of these affordable, I'll come get it. And I'd appreciate, you know, the help getting Alex a little help, because it's just going to be too expensive for him to be able to rebuild this rear end right now. And this isn't a go fast car. He just needs a car that'll go down the road and be reliable, and we're getting there. It's just, this was just a mess. This has been a problem in the making, and it finally blew up on him coming home from work about 25 miles away the other day. So hey, if you can help us out, 8.5 inch 10 bolt out of an A body, and I really don't care what it has for gears, as long as it'll go down the highway. The kid's got to drive on the highway to get back and forth to work. But if you got something kicking around, hit me up, send us a message, comment on here, and let's make a deal and get this kid back on the road, because I don't want to see a kid lose hope on driving a cool classic car like this, you know, just because he's has to keep fixing it. And I don't know, I just don't like seeing that happen. So if you can help us out, hit me up in the comments, or hit us up on one of our social medias on Facebook, Instagram, or DM us, something like that, and we'll figure it out. But anyway, we're going to push this out. I'm going to start digging through some of my local contacts and see if I can't find anything. If you have something that can help us out, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me. And we'll We are back, and ladies and gentlemen, I've got to tell you, I love living where I live. We've got good friends, and we're surrounded by good people. So the Malibu is back in the shop. I kid you not, I reached out to a couple of my friends. They reached out to a couple of their friends. Donnie called me back, and literally within 30 minutes of me putting some feelers out, we had a line on this, and it took a couple days for us to arrange going and getting it out of the donor car. But even, and I kid you not, out of a 73 A body. So we have, and oh, by the way, really dirt cheap. Everybody appreciated that this was a teenage kid trying to stay in his muscle car and gave us a heck of a deal. So we're gonna get this up in the air. We're gonna drop that one out, and then we're going to go to swapping over all of the newish, pretty darn new, brand new brake stuff and everything onto this one. We'll make sure, you know, living in the heartland and helping others out pays rewards in karma. So when you need a little something to help somebody else out, people just fall in line, and yeah, pretty awesome. So Donnie, Randy, if you see this, appreciate you guys very much, all the help in getting this thing located and figured out. We're gonna get this car back on the road today. It's 9:30 by the time we got some of our touring and running around done. This shouldn't take that long, folks. Let's get this thing swapped out and back on the road. Hey, Mackie, you gonna help us today? Should we fix the Malibu? What you gonna do? Been running through the wet grass, I see. Nice day for once, like 67 degrees. Mackie's loving it. He's a hairy dog. Okay, updates. Kind of jamming away on this, trying to keep the hours down on labor, so I don't have a lot of, you know, as we go shots, but this is what you have to take off. The brake line we took, and this is kind of creative here maybe, but we're leaving the center hose, the T-union, and all this brake line. We're just going to let it hang here. This is better than the brake line on our donor axle. Excuse me. That's just a little bit more pitted and rusty. So we're going to use this one. We know it works. So it's kind of hung up out of the way. It's disconnected at the top of the diff. We've got two locating arms at the top. You can kind of see that one there. The nut is off of that one. We've got two down here. The nut is off both of those. And we pulled the drive shaft right in there. And our shock bolts are loose. Right now, the only thing keeping this from dropping down and coil springs falling out is the shock, the limiting of the shocks. So we're going to get the floor jack back under it a little bit now, take some pressure off those bolts. We'll take our four trailing arms or locating arm bolts out, and then we'll undo our shocks, and then we'll let her go. And right in there somewhere should be some. That's stiffer than I expected it to be. Okay. Oh, not seized in there. That's pretty solid. Let's go over here. That just sounds too dang solid. Flies. I guess 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 is a start. What? Come on. Alright, there's. That's what I was afraid of. We are, they're seized in the bushing sleeve. So yeah, we're gonna take, good thing we have extra bolts and stuff from the donor. Put this guy on here. Not super surprising, but they came off really good on the donor axle, so I was hoping that we'd have luck here too. Maybe not. We're gonna have to keep beating on it, I guess. Pressure on it yet. Nope. Okay, first things first, we're going to pull the cover on our donor here. Just make sure everything's happy in here. Wood's a little dirty, but not horrible. Yeah, it looks good. No big metal chunks. Looks like we might have had just a little bit of water in it, but moisture, but nothing that got on and started rusting gears or faces of gear teeth or anything like that. So yeah, let's spin her around here. Okay, update. The sun has moved, and now I'm sitting in it. Had to do quite a bit of cleaning here. The differential had held a little bit of water, and that had rusted some things. That grinding is the brake drum, not the gearing. And we had a little bit of rust build up here, and in differentials on that cast metal especially, if that water sits in there, it's something about gear oil and water, it grows. It'll grow like barnacles on this, and it's easy to brush off, but what it does is it leaves like a grit, because that metal's breaking down, and so we had quite a bit of grit, and we took a lot of extra time to make sure that we don't leave any of the grit in the differential. So we got all cleaned up, went through about 6 cans of brake clean, and we've got just a little bit of gear oil still dripping out. And then we figured, you know what, while we're at it, let's pull. I wanted to get a good look at the pinion bearing, so we pulled the pinion seal out, and it's been sitting for a long time, so it just makes sense. So we're going to pop a new pinion seal in, put the yoke back on, and then install a new differential gasket, clean up the differential cover. You can see it didn't have much water in it, but it sat kind of down this way. It wasn't, the rear end wasn't level, but not bad. Didn't mar up the gears or any of that, bearings, any of that kind of stuff. So we're in pretty good shape. But we'll put a new gasket, put the cover back on, and then we're going to swap over brakes and stuff. When you get your new seal, you can always just kind of give her the old feel test and fit test. Yeah, that's going to go in there nice. And then you take it and check. Yep, that's going to go on there nice. We'll clean that pinion up before we do the final install of it. But for now, let's get this guy in here. It's nice to do out of the car. And what we're going to do is we're just going to tap this flush. Once you hear that tone change, seal's in there flush. I'll take a rag, clean this guy up, and look at the seal surface where the seal's going to ride. And nut. We're going to put our pinion back on and tighten our pinion nut. Now you have to be careful. This is a crush sleeve rear end, which means behind this bearing there's this crush sleeve to help set preload on the bearing. And if you crush that more than it already is, you can exceed the preload, or you can kind of mess up the mojo of the gear mesh. So we're just gonna, if I could put my, all right, kind of have to buckle down here, not real regular step-by-step how-to updates, but new used differential. We have cover on, new diff cover gasket, new pinion seal. Axle seals don't look like they're leaking. We're going to let those live. We cleaned out the third member. We finally got the brake drums off. They were stuck pretty good. ladies and gentlemen, but we got them. We got the newer wheel cylinders from the old backing plates on there. New brakes are ready to go on. We don't have the brake line, it's hanging under the car. And same thing on this side. So we're ready to roll this under there, and then we can get some link bars going and start putting brakes together and get this thing going. I'm kind of running out of time, but we're gonna try and get this done today. We have to hustle. I'm in the middle of a road test here. So far, so good. Been running great. Runs right down the road, no gear noise. The brakes are awesome, and life's doing pretty good. So we're gonna check it for leaks real quick, get back home, and then we gotta do some work for another friend up at church. So let's get back in, finish this road test, and get Alex's car back, should we? Car for first high school car, man. This is what it's about. Brake lights on in the dash. It was that way before. I think that's more of a park brake release issue. The brakes are awesome. There's no leaks. It's got good pedal, all that good stuff. So exhaust leak, because it sits so low, it bottoms out on stuff, and one of the mufflers is broken. Oop. Ignore that. on. It's actually a couple miles an hour low, which for a high school kid is probably good.